absolutely brilliant at what he does.
And he's very good at what exactly.
Amazing.
So if you're going to have an inaugural podcast category,
and you don't have.
It just speaks to living in the blue sky bubble.
Yeah.
But get out of your fucking bubble, you know? I want to be one of you. I am one of you. But you're just so hard to defend because you're just so fucking smug assholes. And this town is the epicenter of the problem. It really is. I just got a Golden Globe nomination for the one I did.
Oh, really?
That's yesterday.
How often do you get nominated for your specials?
Nothing. I used to get nominated for everything, and then the wokeness came in, and then I was considered conservative, which
are you bad?
Ridiculous. So I was what I call soft cancel.
Maher has set his sights on Hollywood, and it's explosive. The outspoken anti-woke critic unloaded on the film industry for pushing woke agendas and shaping culture in ways he says have backfired. The takedown was savage, relentless, and unapologetic. So hit the subscribe button and let's get straight to business.
I want to do something next year about celebrities. Not to get too political, but they just make it worse.
Your whole career.
No, I mean with you guys. They just make it worse. Celebrities do when they speak, and they're almost always on one side of the political divide.
Yes,
and that's basically the side I vote for. You know, as I always say to my woke friends, we voted for the same person. You're just why she lost. I could gather, and I think I will, because it'll be funny. Just the incredibly stupid things that celebrities say about politics or finance or something.
Yeah, we're bad.
And then, so if you're like the person out there going, well, how can you live on $100 million a year? Vote Kamala Harris. It's like, that's the game over.
Maher takes a sharp swipe at celebrities who casually endorse presidential candidates without ever bothering to weigh the facts or understand the political landscape. While he openly admits that he voted for Kamala Harris, Maher says he believed from the start that she was headed for defeat, arguing that her refusal to draw a clear line against the increasingly unpopular woke movement left her vulnerable to voter backlash. According to him, this reluctance made her vulnerable to voter backlash long before Election Day arrived. Maher repeatedly warned both the candidate and the Democratic National Committee that ignoring public frustration would cost them dearly, but his concerns were brushed aside. Instead of listening to uncomfortable truths, party leaders chose reassurance over realism. Meanwhile, Hollywood celebrities flooded Kamala with glowing endorsements, confidently predicting an easy victory. Maher argues that this celebrity echo chamber created a dangerous illusion of momentum, one fueled by applause, social media praise, and moral posturing rather than honest voter sentiment. In the end, he says, reality hit harder than any red carpet endorsement ever could.
Can't let the country in the hands of these people. I'll vote for this guy who's crazy, but at least this kind of crazy, I can almost relate to him more.
You can't have movie stars and politicians that we know have hundreds of millions of dollars lecturing you. It's just the elitist thing that came out of all that, the Democrats. It wasn't a positive thing. They are not going to do that in 2028. I'll bet they'll have regular people.
He's so thoughtful sometimes.
He's very smart about this.
Dana Carvey believes celebrities may think twice before rushing to endorse political candidates again, especially Democratic nominees, after how disastrously their last round of endorsements played out. According to Carvey, the results expose just how disconnected Hollywood activism has become from everyday voters. He argues that celebrity political preaching often comes across as tone-deaf and ineffective, doing more harm than good. In his view, it's inherently elitist for wealthy entertainers, insulated inside their Hollywood bubble, to swoop in and lecture ordinary Americans on who they should vote for. Carvey suggests that this top-down moral messaging alienates working-class voters who feel ignored, talked down to, or misunderstood by cultural elites. Rather than inspiring trust, celebrity endorsements can reinforce resentment and skepticism toward the political establishment. He adds that voters don't want guidance from red carpets and private jets. They want leaders who understand rising costs, public safety, and real-life struggles. Until celebrities recognize that gap, Carvey argues, their political influence will continue to decline rather than persuade.
I just got a Golden Globe nomination for the one I did.
Oh, really?
That's yesterday.
How often do you get nominated for your specials?
Nothing. I used to get nominated for everything, and then the wokeness came in, and then I was considered conservative, which
are you bad?
Ridiculous. So I was what I call soft canceled.
Yeah.
Where you don't.
Well, I'm a Bill Clinton liberal. Which is from the 90s, which is now called
Me too.
a Nazi.
Far exactly, right.
Yeah.
You're a
So-
white supremacist.
So this is the first time in a while I've been nominated for something.
Okay.
Which I think shows a little bit that we are coming out of the wokeness. I mean, I'm not going to win, and I'm probably not even going to go, but I take it as a victory that they were not able to ignore how good that special was.
Maher reflects on what he describes as being soft canceled simply because he refused to pledge loyalty to the woke club. Before pushing back, his comedy specials regularly earned major award nominations and industry praise. But once he began openly criticizing progressive orthodoxy, those invitations mysteriously dried up. Maher claims he wasn't officially banned, just quietly sidelined, ignored, and pushed out of the spotlight. The message, he says, was clear: fall in line or fade away. For years he watched as comedians played it safe while awards season passed him by. Now, with public sentiment shifting and the cultural grip of the woke movement weakening, Maher has suddenly found himself welcomed back. His latest nomination for the Golden Globe feels less like coincidence and more like confirmation. It's a reminder that Hollywood follows trends, not principles. Credit to Maher for holding his ground, enduring the backlash, and refusing to bend under ideological pressure when silence would have been easier.
Not one that the woke can watch and not throw up, because I call their shit out and the fact that people are laughing shows that it's funny. When you do stupid things, it's funny, and the left did a lot more stupid things in the last 5 to 10 years. And I'm a comedian. I go where the gold is, and it's hitting the side of a barn to make fun of some of this
Sure,
shit.
it's too
I mean,
easy.
if you think, I quoted like very esteemed publications like The Atlantic, or saying things like, separating sports by sex doesn't make sense. Well, if that's not of course it does. If anybody can't do 5 minutes on that,
Yeah.
or Mr. Beast, who was helping disabled people, and the Washington Post guy was tweeting like, he thinks disability is something that needs to be solved.
Maher has faced relentless criticism over the past few years for his unapologetic anti-woke stance. Many assumed the pressure would eventually wear him down, but he's done the opposite. Instead of retreating, Maher doubled down, devoting a significant portion of his latest comedy special to sharply criticizing the far left. While others tiptoed around controversy, he charged straight into it. That level of defiance takes real nerve in an industry where careers can vanish overnight. Maher understands the risks, yet he continues to say what he believes, regardless of who it angers. In contrast, many comedians folded at the first hint of backlash, choosing safety over honesty and applause over authenticity. Maher refused. He didn't rewrite his jokes, soften his message, or apologize for challenging sacred narratives. Whether one agrees with him or not, his willingness to stand alone in a hostile climate is undeniable. And in today's comedy world, that kind of courage is increasingly rare.
There's a podcast category at the Globes.
Oh, really?
No, you know what someone said? I thought
Is
they
there?
were kidding.
Oh,
I would think you.
did we get nominated?
No.
We're defending
Wouldn't you have
champions.
known?
you know.
And his guests openly questioned why figures like Joe Rogan were completely absent from this year's Golden Globe podcast nominations. For years, the Joe Rogan Experience has dominated the podcast world, consistently ranking among the most listened to, most influential shows on the planet. Its reach, cultural impact, and longevity are virtually unmatched. Yet, despite those credentials, Rogan was mysteriously left off the list. Maher finds that omission hard to believe. In his view, it has little to do with quality or popularity, and far more to do with ideological alignment. He argues that Rogan's willingness to challenge progressive orthodoxy and push back against woke talking points has made him unacceptable to award show gatekeepers. According to Maher, Hollywood institutions increasingly reward political alignment over merit. While they celebrate voices that echo approved narratives, dissenters, no matter how successful, are quietly excluded. The result, Maher warns, is an awards culture that looks less like recognition and more like ideological
He's
enforcement.
absolutely brilliant at
I
what
mean,
he
and
does.
he's very
Yeah.
good at what exactly.
Amazing.
So if
Amazing.
you're going to have an inaugural podcast category,
And you don't have...
it just speaks to living in the blue sky bubble.
Yeah.
Like, get out of your bubble. I want to be one of you. I am one of you, but you're just so hard to defend because you're just such fucking smug assholes. And this town is the epicenter of the problem. It really is.
Maher then unleashes a blistering critique of Hollywood, accusing the industry of being trapped inside a self-reinforcing liberal bubble. According to him, studio executives, award committees, and celebrities have grown so insulated that they refuse to engage with anyone who challenges their worldview. Instead of debate or dialogue, dissent is met with silence, exclusion, or quiet punishment. Maher argues that this mindset has turned Hollywood into an echo chamber where agreement is rewarded and disagreement is treated as heresy. He points to Joe Rogan as a prime example, claiming the podcaster was deliberately sidelined not because of a lack of influence or talent, but because he refuses to fall in line on woke ideology. In Maher's view, Hollywood no longer values open conversation, it values conformity. By shutting out voices like Rogan's, he warns, the industry isn't protecting progress. It's proving just how disconnected it has become from the millions of Americans who don't think, vote, or speak exactly the same way.
The thing about the Oscars is they do reflect society. That's why we pay so much attention, partly. And things are always changing in our industry, like streaming. It just changed the whole industry. This happens so often. So they have to come up with new categories for the awards. The Golden Globes came up with a new one this year that basically picture people liked. They had, they had become such self-congratulating, virtue-signaling bores that they had to go, oh yeah, let's make a category for that. People actually paid to see something great. So
Maher sharply criticizes what he calls the woke movie industry's tendency to prioritize online activist pressure over storytelling and artistic merit. According to him, Hollywood now bends over backward to appease activists by inventing award categories that celebrate symbolism rather than substance. He points to last year's introduction of the category, the picture people liked, as a perfect example of how far things have drifted. Maher mocks the idea, arguing that it sounded less like a serious honor and more like a participation trophy designed to avoid offending anyone. In his view, award shows have become so desperate for relevance and approval that they've diluted their own standards. Instead of celebrating excellence, innovation, or cultural impact, Hollywood keeps lowering the bar to satisfy every loud demand online. Maher warns that this constant virtue signaling doesn't elevate cinema, it cheapens it. By rewarding trivial distinctions, the industry risks turning prestigious awards into hollow gestures rather than meaningful recognition of real achievement.
So there's Oscar categories. Would you like to hear the Oscar categories? I knew you would. I knew you would want to hear them. For example, this was needed. Best editing of a film that's still an hour too long. Achievement in ethnic prosthetics. Best achievement in replacing an actor who tweeted something offensive. Best use of a freeze frame, followed by the words, "You're probably wondering how I got here."
Maher then turns his attention to Hollywood executives, unleashing sharp mockery through a series of biting parodies aimed at the Oscars and Golden Globes. He jokingly invents exaggerated woke awards to mirror the kinds of honors the industry now hands out, using humor to expose what he sees as their growing absurdity. Sketches aren't just for laughs. They're meant to highlight how hollow and performative many of these accolades have become. Maher argues that awards once designed to recognize excellence in filmmaking are now diluted by ideological box-checking and moral signaling. By parodying categories that prioritize messaging over merit, he underscores how little these trophies actually represent anymore. In his view, Hollywood has replaced genuine achievement with symbolic validation, turning prestigious ceremonies into self-congratulatory spectacles. Satire lands because it reflects a deeper frustration. When everything is an award, nothing truly matters. Through humor, Maher drives home his point that meaning has been traded for approval. In the end, Maher's message is clear. Hollywood, he argues, has lost its way. Obsessed with ideology, approval, and virtue signaling, the industry now rewards conformity instead of creativity. By sidelining dissenting voices and inventing hollow accolades, it has drained meaning from both comedy and cinema. Maher's relentless critiques, sharp satire, and refusal to fall in line expose an entertainment culture terrified of disagreement. Whether calling out celebrity activism, mocking empty awards, or defending free expression, Maher stands as a rare outlier willing to challenge the system from within. love him or hate him, his commentary resonates because it taps into growing public fatigue. As audiences drift away from Hollywood's echo chamber, Maher's warning looms large. When art becomes activism and applause replaces honesty, credibility collapses and no amount of trophies can save it. And this brings us to the end of today's video. If you enjoyed it, then hit the like button and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.